Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do a top up to my Rock Titan video, the one that I released recently. In order for you to watch this video, I'm going to say you're going to have to go watch the other video as a prerequisite. It really is, as I say, a top up to those teams. So I'm going to be taking the 3 Sorcerers Chosen that I didn't use, putting them in some teams and getting some decent scores with them. I feel like there's so many different teams that you can do well with in this game at this point, and I'm going to be showing that you can power with every Sorcerer's Chosen in the game on the Rock Titan, so you've got some options for when you do your runs. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so we are starting with a princess team, and you'll notice that I've got Snow White on this princess team. You can easily do this without Snow White. You know, I've not got anything to land debuffs on the Rock Titan here, so it doesn't really matter who you use. You're not going to be able to crit as often. You're aiming to get your big crit hits with Merida. Now, the plan of action here is to basically lay down damage on one head with all your characters until Merida gets empowered. She's going to give herself a guaranteed crit. And once she's got that guaranteed crit, you're going to then use her middle special on the left hand side, so on the side that we're not hitting. And the reason is you're just going to be spreading out the damage as much as you can, really. The aim here is to get to Merida's arrows as much as possible, so getting her empowered as much as possible so she can do some big hits. We're going to take in Mufasa's spirit as well, because at the end I'm going to have one more big special from Merida, and that's going to be with a guaranteed crit and offense up. And then now, as you can see, she's got empowered, she's got a crit. I decided not to use Tiana's mass assist because she'd have lost the crit, and as I said, no debuffs, so I wouldn't have been able to land crits every single time. And then yeah, you saw me hit the left hand side with her special. Okay, so continuing all the damage on the right hand side until we're going to get Merida empowered again, which is going to be now. And then I'm going to use that special on this right hand side instead. And you'll see I'm going to divert the attention now to the left hand side with all my other characters. Really, this is just spreading damage out to make sure your run is as heavy as possible and does as much damage as possible. I am getting a little concerned that, you know, the damage is pretty much, you know, on that right hand side. I probably don't have any more hits really to get off until I've empowered it. And you're going to see it potentially costs me in a minute because, you know, it cost me a couple of extra turns because I decided to use Rapunzel's healing instead of her, you know, basic attack. Because effectively, I don't have a heal for when, you know, the rock bash inevitably comes. Another mass assist, so now Merida is empowered and I can put down Mufasa's spirit. This is where I sort of make that little blunder. You know, I decided to use a heal here because I just didn't want to risk any more damage and empowering before then. And here we go. Your big hit, offense up with guaranteed crit. It's done a decent amount of damage. This is by no means a, you know, optimized run. You can definitely do more with princesses, but I just wanted to show you that princesses with Doc, you know, is a team that can work. So this is about, you know, where I could have used that Rapunzel heal, but as I said, it's not too much of an issue. I'm not going to survive much longer than this. It's really just about getting a couple more hits off with Merida. Snow White is the first to take the insta kill, unfortunately, and I put the guaranteed crit on her. But as I said, you know, you've got your job done, and yeah, the important thing to note really is that Snow White is definitely not necessary here. She doesn't absorb the rock bash, you know, unfortunate. I don't know if that's a bug or something, but it's a little bit frustrating that she doesn't absorb the rock bash, because princesses could be way more important on the Rock Titan otherwise. And there we go. So what did I get? 540k. So not bad. Definitely not as good as, you know, some runs can be. Anyway, moving on. We've got Dr. F. We've got Xanatos, Zerg, Oogie, and then, you know, Oogie's as Sorcerer Chosen, and then Shank. So Shank is really the key to this team, because basically Dr. F's lead is bugged right now, and it does massive damage on debuffed enemies. Shank is the reason you're going to get debuffs on the Rock Titan. She can somehow bypass the Rock Titan's tenacity with both her passive and her basic. So you can see at the start, her passive landed one slow, and then her basic extended the slow. But also, she's able to just land, you know, slows on the rock head naturally anyway. So big damage from Zerg. That's what he's here for. 60k crits on the debuffed side with the buggy Dr. F lead. Xanatos is going to provide some healing and some taunts with his gargoyles, so he's pretty much key here as well to keep this team going as long as possible. You can see I start trying to land the basics on the left hand side, really, because I want to be spreading the damage out, as I said before. But you can see that first attempt failed. Zergs, you know, obviously massive special, doing decent damage there. And then I'm going to have another go with Shank's basic on this left hand side. And there you go, she lands the slow, and now I've got crits on both sides. So I'm going to start, you know, attacking the left head with both Xanatos and Zerg, who both do really decent damage. I think Zerg's pass is about to go off as well, which does a decent amount of damage there. And I've also extended the slow on the left-hand side with Shank. So Shank is just such a good raid character, guys. She's one of the best, and it's why I rank her quite highly in my tier lists. She's a very solid raid character. You know, the specials here the spells here just get a little bit more damage out. But, you know, don't do much. I'm not sure why I'm not using Tuka Beam. I've probably just forgotten it's there. And yeah, you can see it's a really good team. Like, you know, it's a very unusual team, and it's mainly because Shank is making it all possible. Oogie's just there because he is he's a Sorcerer's Chosen, and he's a pretty good taunt. But there we go, we've empowered. We had another big Zerg special on the left side, which ended up empowering the Titan, and I know this is going to be a decent run because I did a lot of damage on that right head already with Zerg, and it's the left side which I ended up empowering. So yeah, it doesn't last. Most teams don't last past the Rock Bash, so, you know, as long as you get to empower really, and you can spread out the damage decent enough, you'll get a decent run. So 400k is not too bad. Again, can be more, but you know, I'll take that. Now moving on, we've got this last team, which is, you know, I had a team pretty much exactly the same as this, apart from I think Frank is the new one in this one. But this is my optimized Elsa team. And effectively, you're just going to be buffing Elsa as much as you can with Barley, with Pocahontas, and extending some of those buffs with Olaf. Now, the only difference with, you know, this run than what I normally do is that I didn't take Elsa's special so soon because I didn't have all the buffs on her, and I decided to wait until she was empowered to use Show Yourself for the first time. So you'll see when I get Barley's turn next, I'm just going to use that basic. That basic from Barley is amazing, by the way. It can call up to 3 attacks, and when I have Elsa in the middle, it normally calls her, although it didn't just then. But yeah, I'm going to do another basic, and she's going to be empowered on her next turn. She's still got offense up, which is the main thing. Barley, I'm hopefully going to get crit power up, and, you know, as well as the guaranteed crit. Olaf, his other special just now landed 4 lots of healing, which is amazing for Elsa. So this hit's going to be massive. And there you go. Pretty much over 200k just from that special alone. It's absolutely monstrous. Elsa is pretty good against a Rock Titan, even just with like a bunch of other Frozen characters anyway. You know, Anna, Kristoff, Sven. She does pretty well with them, but I just prefer her when I can buff her with, you know, characters like Pocahontas and Barley. So it's just a preference, and the runs are a bit quicker for me. Less RNG related. But yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't as optimized because I did lose, you know, I did lose Barley there from him having defense down and the Rock Titan just critting on him. I haven't quite empowered yet, but don't worry, this run will empower and it's going to be, you know, a decent amount of damage. The main thing I wanted to show you guys is that even with the Sorcerers Chosen that don't seem ideal, you can still get big damage on the Rock Titan. So yeah, here we go, 435k, it's not too bad. You know, all of these runs have been over 400k, which is the main thing, and they're all these kind of peripheral teams, so it's really just making the most of the characters you've got. Like, you don't need to use Frank here. I wanted to use Frank because I wasn't using him anywhere else. White Rabbit replaced Frank on my Mike and Sully team, so him adding the taunt, and you know, Frank is just a great character in general. Used him here, but you don't have to use him. You could use even someone like, you know, Bubbles. I don't think I've used Bubbles in any of my Rock Titan runs so far. But yeah, it was another decent run for you, and you know, 3 more runs to top off my teams. There wasn't any overlap apart from the Headless Horseman spell, which I used on the Shank team. The reason I used that there is because I realized that I think I used it in the Mike and Sully team, you know, in my last video, and you're never going to get to it. So you're never going to actually be able to use Headless Horseman. And it's just some added security by being able to land Fear. You can see it helped me a little bit when I landed the Fear, because I was able to land defense down and do a little bit more damage. So, you know, it works when you're not going to empower quickly. It's a very, very good spell. It's one of the best spells for the Rock Titan, so I just wanted to make the most of it, really. And I would replace the Headless Horseman that I used on the Mike and Sully team in my last video. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I hope you've learned something. Like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching.